series of championship basketball films. You'll see the top games, the top stars, and interesting sidelights of America's greatest game. Let's take a look at the collegiate and professional postseason highlights that made history in 1976. The National Junior College Basketball Tournament pits Southern Idaho against Mercer County from Trenton, New Jersey. Mercer in the dark uniforms won back-to-back championships in 1973 and 74 and is rated third among junior college quintets, but Southern Idaho is 31-1 with the one loss coming by a single point. Hard-nosed defense is the trademark for both teams, but Kim Getz hits and has Southern Idaho in form after an early Mercer spurt. The battle of the boards is vital in this contest, and Dwight Williams makes an acrobatic save to trigger a fast break for Southern Idaho. Eric Hovey's pass to Andre Wakefield sets up a short jumper. It's good, and Southern Idaho leads by 1 at the half. Rugged defense remains the order of the day, but there's no stopping Getz' 25-foot bomb. Mercer refuses to fold. They run a set play for Tony Collins, who connects on a three-point play that draws foul number 4 on Kim Getz. The Golden Eagles from Idaho have lots of poise to go along with their #1 rating. Here, Dwight Williams feeds Eric Hovey for a pretty driving layup as Mercer's upset hopes slip away. A full-court press helps Mercer infrequently. This steal is a rarity, as Southern Idaho commits but 6 turnovers all game long, compared to 15 for Mercer. The College of Southern Idaho protects a second-half lead with clutch shooting to topple a tough Mercer County team and capture the National Junior College Tournament with a well-earned 62-50 decision. It's Coppin State of Maryland against Henderson State from Arkansas for the NAIA Basketball Championship. Henderson in red moves out quickly with number 35 Tom Wesley showing the way. Coppin State has a smooth backcourt operator in number 10, Eddie Taylor. Taylor maneuvers for position and hits Eric King inside for an easy bucket. Henderson likes to run plays for All-America star Willie Coulter, and who can blame him? Here, Coulter shakes loose at the key and shoots a soft jumper. It's up and good. Down by 13 points in the early going, Coppin looks for its All-America performer, Joe Pace. Pace and Coulter trade baskets with unerring accuracy, and at the half, Henderson leads by 4. In the second half, Coppin State calls on Joe Pace to carry them home. The 6'11" center doesn't let them down. Big number 44 pours in an astounding 43 points to bring Coppin into the lead and solidify his hold on the NAIA Most Valuable Player Award. They come right back to Pace again as he moves nicely without the ball. Eddie Taylor feeds him for 2 points, and Coppin State moves ahead by 7. Henderson's Chris Lockhart drives the lane, shoots from the hip, and it's in. Joe Pace finally misses a shot. He hit on 65% from the field throughout the tournament. Henderson fast breaks with Enos Mitchell passing to Willie Coulter for a bank shot. It's good, but Henderson State won't be able to catch Joe Pace and Coppin tonight. Coppin State takes the NAIA title with a thrilling 96-91 victory in the championship game. Every summer, thousands of high school-age basketball players further their skills by attending basketball camps. The 5-star basketball camp in Honesdale, Pennsylvania attracts an interesting cross-section of players who come to play and receive instruction from top professional and college coaches. Adelphi University's Marv Kessler conducts a session on defense.
Okay, if you're going to go up to block a shot, go up, get this wrist back, because your fouls come this way. And for every shot you block, you foul the guy twice. We say, yes, go up, use the arc, but get the wrist back. I don't care whether it's the forward shooting. Go up. Watch the wrist, up here and back. because this is where you make your foul. Shoot the jumper, forget about it. This is where you make the foul. Okay, that's why he's a super. 3-point play. Did he make it? 3-point play. Don't come down with your hand. Maintain pressure. Beat the man across. Beat him out. Force him to the side where you can get the eye on a part of the forward. Some teams force to the middle. It's all part of your coach's preference. Okay? But the main thing is don't get beat.
Basketball is fun, you know, so not all the drills and exercises are completely serious. Future Globetrotters take note. Okay, it's your turn.
Good D. Now come on, Bruce, play him tough.
Actual game action is an integral part of the learning process, too. You can hear the constant chatter and encouragement of coaches during the scrimmage as the youngsters attempt to apply their newly learned skills to live competition.
Way to go. Good pass. Way to go. Bruce, Dave, over here.
Ready?
One of the highlights of this or any basketball camp is a visit professional coach. Here, Atlanta Hawk coach U.B. Brown visits 5-star and surprises the boys with a heavy endorsement of the behind-the-back pass.
A little mustard on that one? Okay. And what are we saying? We're saying score. Because you know what I made him do? I made him commit. Commit to me. Because I didn't lose my dribble. I didn't lose it. I made him commit. Right there. So when it's raining, go down your cellar, get your little brother to straddle the line, and just pass the ball, pointing your shoulder. Don't look. Put on a blindfold. Don't look. When you get good, walk around the little guy. Bring it off the dribble. Bring it up. Make the pass. Come the other way. Do it. Don't tell me that's showboating. That's not showboating. Because with all the rejectors today, when you come in here and commit, once you commit, because of the size, they take the curl and hook, you have nothing but that. I have a nice chance to judge you.
Dedication, hard work, and following these lessons learned just might be the keys that will lead some of these talented players to basketball greatness. The NCAA Division II Championship pits Puget Sound against the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. Puget Sound in yellow got here by beating last year's champs Old Dominion in the semis. The Loggers front line immediately takes possession of the Roberts Stadium backboards with 7-foot Kurt Peterson controlling the game with his scoring as well as rebounding. Chattanooga, paced by swingman Wayne Golden, knocked off Eastern Illinois to advance to the title game. Here, Golden steals and flips a behind-the-back pass to Bill Gordon for a layup. Chattanooga, thwarted inside for most of the first half, finally succeeds with a pretty feed to Gary Stitch. 2 points. Puget Sound is doing it all with good team balance. Alone in the corner, Mark Wells shoots the jumper. Swish. Chattanooga applies a full-court press, but Puget Sound is not alarmed as Jimmy Stewart fires a long pass to Brant Gibler for an uncontested basket. Showing poise and a variety of firepower, Puget Sound moves the ball to Tim Evans for a 15-footer, and at the half they possess a solid 10-point advantage. The second half is more of the same as the Loggers burn Chattanooga, hitting 65% from the field. Tim Evans displays his soft touch on this one. Whenever Chattanooga threatens, Puget Sound goes directly to the outstanding player of the tournament, Kurt the Pete Peterson. Peterson plays both ends of the floor. His block shot sets up a fast break bucket for Jimmy Stewart. Chattanooga's championship bid is foiled, but even in defeat, Wayne Golden is something else. Pretty move. Puget Sound of Tacoma, Washington topples the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga 83-74 to reign supreme as the NCAA Division II champions. The strongest field in history gathers at Penn State for the AIAW, the Women's National Championship. Defending champ Delta State takes on the Mighty Macs of Immaculata. Lucy Harris is the key to this great matchup. The teams split 2 regular season contests, but if Immaculata wants to dethrone the Lady Statesman, they'll have to find a way to stop the fabulous scoring and rebounding of number 45, Lucy Harris. At 6'3", Lucy has all the moves you'd ever want to see at both ends of the court. Pretty move. And no, Immaculata coach Kathy Rush is not listening to a radio. She's in contact with spotters while her counterpart, Margaret Wade, wants her girls to feed Lucy. Delta State in white is 32-1 coming into this game, and here's how they've done it. Immaculata's attack is effective too. Watch number 11, Mary Shaw, hit from the perimeter over the top of the Delta zone defense. Moments later, Denise Burdick has an open jump shot. And she hits too. Wanda Haston sets up in a low post on the far side, and it's 2 points. When Lucy Harris has position and the ball, not even 3 Macs can put a crimp in her style. But at the half, Immaculata has a 32-25 lead. After intermission, Delta charges back as Ramona von Beckman and Lucy Harris team up. Between them, von Beckman and Harris are on the way to 45 points. However, Immaculata hangs right in there. Denise Burdick pops for 2 of her 20 points. Swish. Immaculata falls behind with 3 players in foul trouble, but Susan Martin gets the good bounce to pull them within a single point. The Lady Statesmen go for a set play. Is it for Lucy? No, Wanda Haston cuts through the lane on a beautiful play. The Mighty Macs won't quite make it all the way back. Time is short, and the von Beckman-Harris duo has done the damage. It's the 2nd straight title for Delta State as they capture the AIAW championship in a classic battle with Immaculata, 69-64. Congratulations to Delta State coach Margaret Wade and MVP Lucy Harris. 30 years ago, the toast of collegiate athletics was Notre Dame's All-America quarterback, Frank Tripucka. That trusty right arm carried Frank Tripucka from glory with the Fighting Irish to additional stardom in professional football. Now all-star football performer Frank Tripucka is known as the father of basketballers Tracy, Todd, TK, and Kelly Tripucka.
And of course, the kids were always brought up with, Notre Dame in mind and what Notre Dame is doing, and of course what Bloomfield is doing in the various sports. And unfortunately, except for Mark, he's the only guy that played football. The rest of them played basketball. I say unfortunate. I really don't want to use that word, but because I'm very happy with what they've chosen to do, namely playing basketball, and most of them are pretty good basketball players. Tracy, he was a tall, thin boy. Actually didn't start growing until they got into the 9th grade, and then over that one summer, I guess he went from about 5'10" to about 6'3". Dedicated type individual, and next thing you know, he started playing basketball, and he developed just through his own initiative and his own practice sessions a tremendous shot. And he had the type of shot that when he would take it, the ball looked like it was never going to get to the basket, but it always seemed to get there. So he brought most of this on by himself just through hard work, hard practice. Todd, on the other hand, the next guy in line, I felt was probably one of the best athletes of all of them, because he had the body to almost do anything he wanted. He was about 6'2", 6'3", and went about 190 pounds. This was, even in high school. I would say of all of them, as far as raw native ability, I don't think Todd had any. It was just a matter of making himself, and just through practice, making his moves, practicing his shot from a particular spot on the court, he eventually became the 6th leading scorer in the United States. And of course, he had the honor of making the Helms Foundation All-American team, and it probably is the highest singular honor that any Lafayette basketball player has ever received, including Tracy. Now, he did break a couple of Tracy's records, but by far Tracy, the oldest guy, has almost every available record that was ever set at Lafayette. And then, of course, the next guy in line was TK. And TK was the big, strong guy. TK right now goes about 6'8", and after his crash diet that they put him on over there at Fordham, got down to about 220, but he was up around 240. In high school, he played about 235, 240, and a big, strong fella, and he had to make the choice between basketball and football and track. He also holds the discus, I believe, and the javelin records at the high school. Kelly finally is the last guy that comes into the picture. I shouldn't say finally because we still have Christopher after Kelly. But Kelly probably if you just talked about raw native ability, I would say that Kelly probably has more than any of them. Has more of the body, more of the talent, more of the desire, possibly, than all of them. He's just turned 17. He's a little over 6'6". He weighs 215 pounds. Can dunk with either hand, overhand, frontwards, every other which way. And as I always describe it, can jump through the roof. Of course, when you've got this type of ability, plus the fact I think he possesses, as my old coach Frank Leahy always used to say, a burning desire. And Kelly, regardless of who he's playing, he'll go out and score 100 points. It wouldn't embarrass him at all to get 100 against maybe the Little Sisters of the Poor. And of course, here again, I think it's something that is you can't teach a boy. It's something he either has or he doesn't have.
And the Tripucka family certainly does have what it takes from Papa Frank right on down the line. From the looks of things, we'll be hearing the name Tripucka in basketball circles for many years to come. Big Ten rivals Indiana and Michigan vie for the biggest plum in college athletics, the NCAA championship. Indiana in white is #1 in the nation with a perfect 31-0 record. But the scrappy Wolverines open up with a tenacious defense that vaults them into a surprising early lead. Compounding Indiana's troubles, Wayman Britt's fast break tally results in an injury to starting guard Bobby Wilkerson. Wilkerson is through for the night in the opening minutes, and Jim Whitten was coming off the Hoosier bench. Indiana continues to be bothered by the Michigan defense. The Wolverines lost twice to the Hoosiers in Big Ten competition, but the Michigan Five seemed to come on as the year progressed. Ricky Green triggers another fast break in. Wayman Britt follows up to put in an easy rebound. The Hoosiers draw close with All-Americans Kent Benson and Scott May catching fire. Here Benson hits Quinn Buckner underneath on a pretty play. And at the half, it's Michigan 35 and Indiana 29. The Indiana Steamroller gets its undefeated act together in the second half with tournament MVP Kent Benson doing the honors. A pretty hook shot. The Hoosiers appear to be error-free as they quickly gain the upper hand and refuse to let go. Benson moves inside, fakes, and hits again. Indiana is in high gear with an awesome second-half performance. Michigan keeps fighting as backcourt ace Ricky Green pumps in 2 more, but this is Indiana's night with an overwhelming show of 57 second-half points after just 29 in the opening 20 minutes. Coach Bobby Knight's team wins the Battle of the Big Ten and the NCAA championship to cap a perfect season at 32 wins and 0 losses. The final score is Indiana 86, Michigan 68. The Hoosiers are 63-1 over the past 2 seasons, but now they have the one title that says it all: Indiana University NCAA basketball champions. We proudly present the 45th annual Converse All-America basketball team. This 10-man squad has been selected by a national consensus of coaches and sports writers. Working in alphabetical order, we begin our dream team with Kent Benson. The talented junior center led Indiana to the NCAA title in spite of torn wrist tendons that required a postseason operation. At 6'5", 210 pounds, Adrian Dantley is a junior at Notre Dame. The muscular forward was selected as the Player of the Year by the U.S. Basketball Writers Association. Dantley is an expert at working his way inside for high-percentage shot making. A 6'9" senior, Alabama's Leon Douglas is now the Crimson Tide's all-time leading scorer and the Southeastern Conference's outstanding performer. Douglas is an All-America in more ways than one, doing volunteer work with disadvantaged youngsters. Tremendous quickness and speed epitomize Phil Ford, a 6'2" sophomore at North Carolina. Known as a perfectionist, Ford practices 12 to 15 hours a day during the off-season. Another speedy guard is 6'2" Ricky Green of Michigan. A junior, Green was the catalyst for the Wolverines' most successful season in history with his ball hawking and scoring. A 6'4" senior at Maryland, John Lucas is one of the best all-around athletes the Atlantic Coast Conference has ever produced. The NBA's #1 draft pick, Lucas is also the Eastern Intercollegiate Tennis champ. Indiana might have been NCAA champions for 2 consecutive years if it hadn't lost the services of Scott May in the 1975 tournament. May came back better than ever to be selected Player of the Year by the AP, UPI, and basketball coaches polls. Rutgers University has a new all-time scoring and rebounding leader in 6'5" Phil Sellers. Sellers led the Scarlet Knights to an undefeated record in regular season play and was named the ECAC Division I Player of the Year. At 6'2" and 165 pounds, Willie Smith of Missouri can do it all. A virtual one-man gang at times, Smith finished his career with a 23.9 points per game average. Tremendous range plus a great shooting eye left Smith in sole possession of every conceivable Missouri scoring record. Last but not least on the Converse All-America squad is Richard Washington of UCLA. At 6'10", Washington is a tower of strength at both ends of the floor. His soft jump shot is an outstanding feature of his game, making him a great professional prospect. Following an upset win to dethrone Golden State, the Phoenix Suns were supposed to be swept away by the Boston Celtics. But it's now the 4th quarter of Game 6, and the Suns are very much alive, though down 3-2 after a triple overtime loss in Boston. Paul Silas gives the Celtics a 3-point lead, and the pressure is on the young Phoenix team. With 2 rookies in the starting lineup, Alvin Adams and Ricky Sobers, the Suns could never have been expected to make the NBA Finals. But now it's Rookie of the Year, Alvin Adams, keeping them right in the thick of it. It's up, and it's good. Charlie Scott races up court and bounces a beautiful lead pass to Johnny Havlicek as the Celtics try to break it open. Dave Cowan steals the ball from Adams, and the Celtics big man drives the length of the floor with amazing agility en route to a key bucket. Now it's the Suns' turn as Paul Westphal comes up with the loose ball and heads down court. Havlicek gets back to defend, but watch this move by Westphal. Sensational. John Havlicek is looking for his 8th NBA championship, while JoJo White is on his way to being named the playoff MVP. White's driving basket seals the Suns' fate for 1976. However, Ricky Sobers is not convinced. Phoenix goes down in the same manner that got them to the finals, scrapping all the way. Time runs out on the Phoenix Miracle as the Celtics win the game 87-80 and the series 4-2. For Boston, it's their 13th NBA championship in the past 20 years. Amid speculation that a merger was near, the 2 most appealing teams to the NBA owners advanced to the finals in the ABA playoffs. Would this be the last hurrah for the red, white, and blue basketball? If so, it would be farewell in a blaze of glory as the New York Nets in blue and the Denver Nuggets stage a fantastic finale. The Nets, led by the incomparable Julius Erving, took a 3-1 lead into Game 5 in Denver. The Nuggets super rookie, David Thompson, answers Erving's bucket. Playing with a mask to protect an earlier injury, veteran guard Chuck Williams hit the jump shot for the Nuggets. The Nets look for Dr. J. Julius has averaged over 39 points in the first 4 games, and he's on his way to 37 more tonight, whether this Denver fan likes it or not. However, even the amazing Dr. J can't deny the balanced Nuggets in front of 18,881 screaming fans. Bobby Jones ices it on a Ralph Simpson feed, and the series heads back to New York, with the Nets still looking for the clincher. The ABA MVP, the playoff MVP, everybody's choice as Professional Player of the Year, Julius Erving wants this to be the last game of the season, and a full house of 15,934 fans couldn't agree more. The good doctor shows the Nuggets some choice operating maneuvers. Sensational David Thompson has the hot hand tonight. He'll hit for a game-high 42 points, and the Nuggets are rolling. Watch this Thompson rebound and stuff shot. And when Thompson finally misses, Big Dan Issel gets the inside position to tap it home. The Nuggets race out to a 13-point halftime advantage and stretch it to runaway proportions at 22 late in the third quarter when the Nets begin chipping away. Dr. J drives on Bobby Jones and slams it through the hoop. The doctor does it all and more. Here, Julius scraps for a loose offensive rebound, picks it off the floor, drives, and makes a perfect pass to Tim Bassett for a gimme. Rich Jones drives for 2 more. He misses, but Julius Erving converts with a beautiful tip-in as the Nets charge back into contention. Rich Jones penetrates, passes off to John Williamson in the corner, and Williamson connects on a jump shot. A streak shooter, Williamson picks the right time to go on a rampage. Swish. Williamson just can't miss, and the Nets are within hailing distance. Williamson is everywhere, and the Nets are even. Williamson does it again, and the Nets' comeback is complete as they outscore the Nuggets 34-14 in the fourth quarter to take an incredible come-from-behind victory and the championship in a magnificent series that just might be the final ABA season.
Hey, hey, Dr. J, where'd you get those moves? You move with such grace. Are you a member of the human race? Hey, Dr. J, where'd you get those moves? You're an artist, you're a wizard, and you blow up in air. Everybody's wondering, how'd you get there? Hey, Dr. J, where'd you get those moves? Are you wearing magic shoes?
He's wearing Converse, the shoes of the stars.
Converse, manufacturers of America's #1 basketball shoe, the Converse All-Star, brings you the 31st in a series of championship basketball films. You'll see the top games, the top stars, and interesting sidelights of America's greatest game. Let's take a look at the collegiate postseason highlights and professional basketball's long-awaited merger that made history in 1977. The final game of the National Junior College Basketball Tournament at the Sports Arena in Hutchinson, Kansas, features Independence Community College against San Jacinto College. Independence in blue knocked off tournament favorite Southern Idaho in the second round en route to the final. San Jacinto gained the championship round with a 1-point streak over Ellsworth. The Ravens move the ball deliberately, trying to set up their big men inside. The ball goes to 6'7" Arthur Ross, and he hits a short jump shot to pull San Jacinto to within 4 points of Independence at the half. Kevin Eberhardt controls the ball as the second half begins and moves up court for the Pirates. Eberhardt misses. Ken Logan's long pass finds Ali Mack ahead of the field, and San Jacinto trails by just 2 points. Eberhardt with a nice feed to Steve Roberts in close, but Roberts misses, and Ollie Mack is the first man down court again. Mack stuffs it home, and San Jacinto is dead even with Independence. Down the stretch, Independence looks for a hot hand, and the right man at the right time is Rennie Kelly. Kelly's deadly jump shooting in the clutch gets the lead back for the Pirates, and Coach Dan Wall's team nurses its slender margin right down to the final buzzer. Independence 75, San Jacinto 72, and the smiles in Independence, Kansas are broad indeed as the Junior College Championship goes to their Pirates. Madison Square Garden hosts the oldest postseason championship, the National Invitation Tournament. Houston and St. Bonaventure play for the title following upset victories over Alabama and Villanova in the semifinals. The Bonnies in the dark uniforms get off to a quick start with number 25, high-flying Essie Hollis showing the way. But Houston has All-America Otis Birdsong to rely on, and Otis is red hot as the lead changes hands time and time again. It's Birdsong once more shaking loose for a jump shot. It's good. Otis Birdsong finally misses. He scored 20 points in the first half, and St. Bonaventure fast breaks. Essie Hollis to stop, regains control, and watch this jumping hook shot. Pretty. The Bunnies and Hollis lead Houston and Birdsong by 3 after 20 minutes of action. The Cougars race out to a quick lead in the second half, but St. Bonaventure tightens up its defense and battles back with Greg Sanders taking charge on the offensive end with moves like this one. Pretty play. A three-point play, and the Bunnies are back in the chase. Houston keeps going to the main man, Otis Birdsong. Here he picks up 2 more on a pretty pass from Cecil Rose. Jim Barron answers for St. Bonaventure as the frantic pace continues. A grueling game pushes Birdsong's endurance. He misses, but Mike Schultz grabs the offensive rebound and lays it in for Houston. Down by a single point, Bonnie's coach Jim Satlin wants his team to work for a high percentage shot. Any shot meets that description for the blazing Greg Sanders. Sanders hits a 20-footer under pressure, and the St. Bonaventure fans are ecstatic. 2 seconds away from their first NIT crown, the Bonnies hit Essie Hollis with a full court bomb for a clinching basket in a thrilling 94-91 win. St. Bonaventure, led by Greg Sanders' 40 points, outlast the Otis Birdsong show of 38 points, and the Bonnies capture the NIT. Kemper Arena in Kansas City is the scene of the NAIA National Basketball Tournament, with Texas Southern meeting Campbell College for the championship. Texas Southern in the white uniforms came into the tournament seeded 5th and has been on a rampage all week long. Unseeded Campbell reached the final with 4 straight upsets. But tonight, Texas Southern flies out of the starting gate while Campbell is having trouble getting on track. Texas Southern coach Robert Moreland has high-scoring Alonzo Bradley and company in high gear as the Tigers hit their first 10 shots of the game. Here, Lawrence Williams connects from 18 feet out. At the half, Texas Southern leads 37-22. Protecting its impressive margin, Texas Southern slows the pace in the second half, but the shots keep falling in. The Tigers rack up a superb 56% shooting average for the entire game as Marcelo Singleton chips in with a jump shot. The Camels of Campbell College refuse to give up. They keep battling against the hot-shooting Texas quintet with 6'6" center Sam Staggers working inside. Staggers uses the glass to bank this one in. Pretty shot. Texas Southern answers every Campbell basket with one of its own. Here, Alonzo Bradley shows how he earned the NAIA Most Valuable Player Award. Campbell College has met its match after 4 amazing upset wins. Texas Southern has too many guns, and even a bomb by Clay Austin can't help. It's the end of Campbell's Cinderella story as Texas Southern winds up with a 31-5 record and the NAIA championship. Tennessee's Volunteers feature the talents of junior Bernard King from Brooklyn, New York, a genuine All-American. Fort Hamilton High School features the talents of senior Albert King, a future All-America. Older brother Bernard has done it all at Tennessee for 3 straight seasons, but rebounding is his favorite chore.
the main thing for my game is the same. I love the rebound. I take more pride in that than scoring perspective, you know. I feel anybody can score. You give anybody a ball and if they can have a move or whatsoever, they're going to score. But, you know, rebounding, that's you and another man. That's individually you and another man. So I take more pride in that than anything else. And most people see me as a scorer. I'm averaging whatever points per game or whatsoever, you know, so they feel I have to get my points. That's not necessarily so. Every person on my team is capable of scoring 20 or 25 points, and I realize it, so I respect them. So I try to give them the ball, because I know they're capable of scoring. If they have a better shot than I have at that particular time, although I realize I may hit the shot, I'm going to give the ball up to them. You know, but more so than that, you know, I'm trying to work on my defense. It's the fact that, you know, I have offensive skills. I feel so. And so right now I'm trying to get the best defensive skills I can at this particular time.
While Bernard has been burning up the Southeastern Conference, his brother Albert has been one of the most heavily recruited high school basketball players ever. At 6'7", little brother Albert has scoring moves, agility, and ability that defy belief. It's the unanimous opinion of all who have seen him play that Albert King will be something very special. Here are some comments from his Fort Hamilton coach, Ken Kern.
If I'd liken him to anybody, I would liken him to a possible budding Dr. Julius, because his movement, he has gazelle-like movements. He flows through the court. He sees the whole court. This year, his stats are about 37 points a game. He's had 48 in one great performance, and in that particular game, he had 22 for 28. He's had 15 assists in the game, and he stuffed the ball 5 times during the course of the game, and he also rejected 5 shots. It was just an unbelievable performance.
Albert's unbelievable performances have made definite believers of scouts and recruiters from all over the country who flock to Brooklyn's Fort Hamilton gym in record numbers.
Most of them talk about basketball. Some of them, like the big schools, they get on the academic work and say you have to work. Mm-hmm. That's primary. If you don't work, you don't play. So that's really good to hear, because you really can't play all your life. Mm-hmm. And then they really stress the social life is good, the team is good, they play a good schedule, and they become New York. They always try to say they come to New York.
Following in the footsteps of his older brother, Albert King will be leaving New York for his college education. He would love returning for some road games at Madison Square Garden, but he has narrowed his colleges to a chosen few, including Arizona State and Maryland. Springfield, Massachusetts, the birthplace of basketball, is the host city for the National Collegiate Division II Championship. It's the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga in the dark uniforms against Randolph-Macon College in white. Herb McRae gets the favorite Chattanooga team off winging in their final Division II contest. Next year, they move up to Division I. Randolph-Macon's Danny Connor pumps in a baseline jump shot. The Yellow Jackets were the 32nd team selected in the field of 32, and the underdog role suits them just fine. Barry McCaig follows up nicely, and Randolph-Macon forges an early lead. Gary Miller dribbles toward the key, stops, he jumps, and he hits. Chattanooga wants its tournament MVP to get them rolling. Wayne Golden is the man, and he scores. Randolph-Macon breaks his own press to set up Lou Welch. Welch comes across the middle. Pretty move. The Yellow Jackets lead by 3 at the half and maintain that advantage in the early moments of the final 20 minutes. Chattanooga starts moving the ball more deliberately. Gary Stitch is the open man. Swish. Randolph-Macon hangs tough. Game-high scorer Joe Allen gets 2 of his 22 points with a left-handed tip-in. Number 10, Chattanooga's Wayne Golden is Mr. Clutch for the Moccasins. Golden banks one in and then comes right back with some one-on-one moves. Golden misses, but Herb McRae soars high for the rebound and 2 more Chattanooga points. The Moccasins, runner-ups in this championship game a year ago, are using their experience down the stretch. Wayne Golden is back on target from his favorite shooting position, and Chattanooga takes the lead. Number 32, Gary Stitch, provides some insurance with his bank shot as Chattanooga comes from behind to defeat Randolph-Macon 71-62. The University of Tennessee at Chattanooga captures the National Collegiate Division II title in its final appearance before moving into the Southern Conference. A A familiar sight in women's basketball. Immaculata coach Kathy Rush leading her Mighty Macs to victory in the AIAW National Championship. But this year there are some changes. Kathy Rush is coaching Immaculata in the consolation game against Tennessee, and she's retiring after a fabulous career following this contest. Tennessee captures third place, and it's time for the first AIAW final that does not involve Kathy Rush and Immaculata. It'll be the Lady Statesmen of Delta State defending their title against the Lady Tigers of Louisiana State. Everyone in Minnesota's Williams Arena knows that LSU has to try and stop Delta State's All-America Lucy Harris. From the outset, Lucy is double and triple teamed, but the poised Lady Statesmen move the ball in textbook fashion. Wanda Hairston is alone underneath, and that's an easy 2 points for Delta State. Even with all the defensive attention Lucy Harris attracts, she can still get her points. Lucy moves without the ball, shakes loose, goes to the basket, and that's a true All-America play. LSU is not without some height of its own. Julie Gross and Marie Benny are both 6'2" imports from Australia, giving the Lady Tigers a formidable front line. Delta State gets outside shooting from Cornelia Ward and moves to an early lead. LSU tries to keep pace as Annette Guillotte lofts a pretty one-hander up and in. As the LSU defense sags on Lucy Harris, it leaves openings for sharp-shooting Cornelia Ward, and she hits another one-hander. Delta State's Wanda Hairston claims basketball is desire, and if you want to see the definition of desire, watch Lucy Harris inside. Delta State establishes a 9-point margin at halftime. In the second half, Delta State keeps the pressure on LSU. Wanda Hairston hits the jump shot from the baseline. It's good. LSU's Thelma McCoy misses, but Marie Benny is in the right place at the right time. Playing the part of rebounder, scorer, and feeder, Lucy Harris dishes off to Debbie Brock. Debbie's set shot is up and good. The Lady Statesmen and their fans have a ball in Minnesota as Coach Margaret Wade's Delta State team captures its third consecutive AIAW title with a 68-55 win over LSU. The Omni in Atlanta is the scene for the NCAA championship game as Marquette and North Carolina battle it out for college basketball's biggest prize. Adding to the drama tonight will be the final appearance on the sidelines for Marquette coach Al McGuire, retiring after 13 years of choreographing the Warriors' moves with volatile actions that rubbed off on his players in various ways, but actions that always came straight from the heart. North Carolina's Dean Smith has his personality reflected by the Tar Heels too, calm and collected. Two contrasting styles in search of one NCAA title. Marquette comes out fired up and starts with a rush. Bo Ellis pulls down an offensive rebound, turns around for a jump shot, and it is good. The Warriors surprised North Carolina and the sellout crowd at the Omni by grabbing the early lead and refusing to let go. Bo Ellis to Jerome Whitehead, and that's just what Al McGuire wants to see. This next play is what McGuire does not quite expect, but when you're hot, you're hot. As 6'9" All-America Bo Ellis hits from 20 feet out. The Tar Heels are experiencing a cold shooting first half, and only their hustle and poise are keeping them close. Walt Davis tips the rebound away from Ellis to Mike O'Curran, who spins in a reverse layup for North Carolina, making a beautiful play. Marquette's Butch Lee continues a first half hot streak, and at the buzz of the score is Marquette 39, North Carolina 27. The beginning of the second half is almost as wildly unpredictable as the first. North Carolina suddenly catches fire, and now it'll be the Tar Heels on a scoring binge. Davis passes to Mike O'Curran. O'Curran fakes, shoots, and he scores. O'Corn again from the corner. He hits and the Marquette lead is melting away under a furious Tar Heel rally. John Custer shoots from long range. Good again, and North Carolina trails by just 2 points. Bernard Toone tries to get Marquette on the board. He misses. Walt Davis controls, and the Tar Heels can tie the score. Walter Davis from the foul line. It's good, and North Carolina outscores Marquette 14-2 in just 4 minutes and 2 seconds of wild and woolly second-half action. Coach Dean Smith slows the pace as the Tar Heels employ their patented four corners offense. Working the ball and waiting for a near-perfect opportunity can drive defenses to distraction and create an endless amount of frustrating fouls. But Marquette keeps its cool. Walt Davis pops and hits as the lead ping-pongs back and forth throughout the next 10 minutes. But Marquette's Gary Rosenberger and Butch Lee short-circuit the four-corner strategy down the stretch. Lee's breakaway layup gives Marquette the lead that Al McGuire needs, and now it's North Carolina who must stop the Warriors' game of keep-away. Bo Ellis and company are letter perfect from the foul line in the closing minutes, and that's the key to the championship. Walt Davis hits a long downtown jump shot at the buzzer, but Marquette triumphs over North Carolina 67-59. It's an emotional moment for Coach Al McGuire, who has reached the pinnacle of collegiate basketball in his final coaching performance. Marquette University wins the 1977 NCAA championship on an emotion-filled evening in Atlanta that will long be remembered. Marquette and Coach Al McGuire claim the nation's #1 collegiate title, giving a Hollywood ending to McGuire's final season. We proudly present the 46th annual Converse All-America basketball team. This 10-man squad represents an outstanding blend of all-around basketball talent from coast to coast. In alphabetical order, we begin with Kent Benson, the multi-talented pivot man from Indiana, returning for his second year as a Converse All-America. The Big Ten's MVP in '77, Benson from Newcastle, Indiana, is 6'11", 245 pounds, and a star who should make it big in the pros. A Southwest Conference representative, Otis Birdsong of Houston, brings a 30-point average to our All-America team. All Conference for 2 years and All Section for 3 seasons, the 6'4" Birdsong is a brilliant shot maker. Louisville's senior sensation, Wesley Cox, has been a starter in all 4 years of his college career. He's rated by some observers as the most naturally gifted player ever to perform at Louisville. Another fine pro prospect, Cox is 6'5". Phil Ford of North Carolina is only 6'2" and 170 pounds, but you forget size and weight when you see him play. On the U.S. Olympic team as a sophomore, Ford demonstrated unbelievable poise. Already a 2-time All-America as a junior, Ford should make it 3 in a row in 1978. Marcus Johnson of UCLA, a unanimous All-America selection in 1977, was chosen by many polls as Player of the Year. Johnson passed up a chance to be a first-round pick in the '76 NBA draft in order to earn his degree at UCLA. He's the highest-scoring forward in UCLA history and another in the long line of Bruins superstars. Tennessee's Bernard King, the 6'7" Southeast Conference scoring champion, is a junior, now holding a 3-year scoring average of better than 25 points per game. That's great shooting, but he's an all-around performer, described by Coach Ray Mears as the quickest basketball player I've ever been around in all the time I've been in the game. Butch Lee of Marquette was recruited by Coach Al McGuire out of New York City's DeWitt Clinton High. Lee fit into the defensive-minded coaching philosophy beautifully as he gave his all at both ends of the court. Leading Marquette this past season with more than 19 points per game, Lee still has another year of eligibility remaining. Cedric Cornbread Maxwell, a senior from North Carolina, Charlotte, is one of the most exciting big men in college basketball. The 6'8", 205-pound center has more moves than a chess champion. The 49ers' #1 career scorer and rebounder, Maxwell can put the ball on the floor as well. We'll be hearing a lot more about Cornbread Maxwell in the future. Anthony Roberts and Oral Roberts combined rather naturally this past season. MVP of the Oral Roberts team for the 3rd consecutive year, Anthony Roberts averaged 34 points per game. Rick Roby of Kentucky rounds out our 10-man Converse All-America squad. Roby is the Wildcats' 6'10", 240-pound strongman. Coach Joe Hall describes Roby as being extremely agile for a big man with a great competitive spirit and a good assortment of shots. Roby, along with Bernard King, Phil Ford, and Butch Lee are juniors, a good head start on next year and our 47th Converse All-America team. May of 1976 marked the final time the ABA's red, white, and blue basketball bounced in professional competition. It was Game 6 of the championship series before a sellout crowd of 15,934 at Nassau Coliseum, and it was a night to remember. It was Dr. J, Julius Erving, and his New York Knicks, coming from 22 points down in the second half to catch the Denver Nuggets and clinch the last ABA championship. We asked Dr. J if the thought that he might be playing in a game that was the league's finale ever crossed his mind.
I knew there stood a chance of there being a merger the following year, but I felt as though there would be a merger in 2 months when I signed my first contract with the Virginia Squires, which was back in 1971. So as far as having feelings about when a merger was going to take place, you know, that had come and gone a lot of times during my career, and it hadn't entered into my mind that it would be the last game. Then as the summer came along and we did realize it was the last game, I guess it became that much more enjoyable to reflect back on. So when going down to Philadelphia, I was going into a new situation and one in which, you know, I had to work myself in shape during the playing season rather than in training camp. So that made it very different for me. And getting used to a new system made it different too. So I just tried to get in condition and learn that system and then be a consistent force for that team night in and night out. And hopefully by the end of the season, you know, I would have my second win, have my conditioning, have my rhythm, and be able to be a very big factor going into the playoffs.
Many people speculated that this would be a transitional year for ABA players coming into a new league.
I think there's very little difference between the way the game is played in, you know, the NBA as compared to how it was played in the ABA. I think, you know, you have more domineering big men because you have more players, and we have 22 teams, whereas we finished up, you know, with 6 teams at the end of last year. So you face more good players night in and night out than, or a variety of players than, you know, I did when I was in the ABA. And I think with the merger of the two leagues, that the present NBA this year is as strong as any basketball league has ever been.
What about some of the other ABA players? Did they make the transition easily?
I think Al Skinner's game is basically the same as it was in the ABA. He hasn't improved, you know, in a lot of respects. I think his ball handling has really improved because, you know, he's been asked to bring it up against pressure a lot with the Nets, and he's been asked to do a lot of things because with the year the Nets have had, you know, they've had guys in and out and so many guys injured that, you know, he's had to play forward sometimes as well as guard in the same game and play the role of the swing man as well as a big guard, as well as a making guard and a scoring guard. So, you know, he always, you know, impressed me as a player who can play in any league and play consistently well because he has a, you know, he has a great body, and he's strong, and he's a very intelligent player.
All-star performers like Dan Issel of the Denver Nuggets helped prove that outstanding ABA players will most likely be NBA All-Stars too.
Dan, with his situation in Denver, playing center and being on a team that plays an unselfish brand of basketball, Dan is a scorer. Dan has always been a scorer all of his life, and will always be a scorer. You know, he's big and, you know, as quick as any guy his size, and therefore at center, even though he's shorter than most of the other centers, he outthinks them and moves without the ball so well, and with their passing game, he's going to get layups, and if they shut up his game inside, he's going to be able to go outside on them. So I didn't anticipate his transition from the ABA to the NBA being that difficult for him, because, you know, once again, one of the big keys is players' intellect and players' intelligence and their mental approach to the game. Just being able to, you know, think while you're on your feet and move to the open areas and play the game the easy way, as opposed to making it difficult on yourself.
Overall, ABA players did extraordinarily well in the NBA's 1977 season. And if you bother to ask the good citizens of Philadelphia, they'll be mighty glad to inform you that no player made more of a mark in the NBA than their very own Dr. Julius Erving.